Yeah, so this is the book, and the book cover I'm showing you. This book has got two part. Basically, it's divided in two part. First part, it's talking about that how science, especially the physics and geometry, is involved. If you don't understand the physics and the geometry involved in the dance, definitely the presentation will be affected. Our two great legends from India, one is Uday Shankar and another great legend is Rukmini Devi Arundel. Both had been to Russia and received training under Anna Pavlova. And there they understood that there has to be the structured lessons. It's not that before that it was not structured. Yes, definitely. In Bharatanatyam, there are the Tanjore Quartet, Chennaya, Punnaya, Shivananda, Vadivelu. All the Bharatanatyam practitioners and teachers, we all know about it. So they have already formed the margam or the repertoire. Like it should start with the Nalaripu and it should be over with Attalana. So that's how it is divided. But then how the training should be provided, because when Rukmini Devi came back, she found that there are 96 adabus and it's little scattered. So we got to hear that Minaki Sundaram Pillai, one of the closely related to the Tanjore Quartet, he started dividing the adabus. And then Rukmini Devi took help from Minaki Sundaram Pillai as well as Kittappa Pillai to club these adabus according to their mm, uh, I mean, each one has a different characteristics. Like Tattadavu, when we are tapping our feet flat on the ground. Then Nattadu, when the hands and the leg coordination starts. Now, this is understood because it was already there. Then she clubbed and she made 14 groups of adabus. Now, how to set an RMND? Because mostly we get to see that the learners start learning and they find that the knees are paining, and later on there is a lower back pain also. It is all because of the correct posture. The first picture here, it comes, if you can see it, sorry, clearly. I believe now it's clear. See the, the division. It's the geometrical division. There is a straight line, which is actually perpendicular to the line on the ground. And then if you see the knees and the other points, like all corners are having 90-degree angles. Even the hand has a particular patterns. So this is how we actually get to see the Nattadavu. So these lines are very, 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 very important. If you sit in this particular posture, you feel less pain and it's easier to perform. We were talking about the first posture, which is the Tattadavu posture, and this is the common figure which is known as Aramandi. If you get to see the geometrical lines are there. There are triangles. Why I prefer triangles? Because our body has got these geometrical lines. And it's easy to draw the figures also for the non-artists, because the dancers are always not good in art, drawing the postures. If we can draw these triangles, it's easier to understand. And see, when the leg is lifted, the knee is fixed. It is the heel which is coming up and down. And look at the elbows, which is, I mean, both the elbows also have created the angles. So everywhere you see the lines are drawn. It's a perfect straight lines, perfect angles. It's important. It's either 45-degree or it's a 90-degree angle. Then we look at the next one where we actually extend the legs from the Natyaramba position with Aramandi. The legs are extended. Now see, again the lines are drawn. The mostly it happens if the lines and the angles are not perfectly maintained. then you know the hip that moves. So, which is actually not good for the body to understand. And if you don't understand that what angle it should be, then you might have pain and which lasts longer. Here, actually, once we talk about the Nattadavu and Tattadavu, we actually talk about the static and the equilibrium. So the body is in a static position. The body is not moving, the legs are moving, and the hands are moving. In Tattadavu as well as Nattadavu, the basic line is drawn at the center point, which is not moving. Staying at the center point, which is a static position, and maintaining the equilibrium, the legs and hands move, the spine and the line drawn straight, perpendicular, which is static throughout the Nattadavu, which is not moving, and there is no kinetic movements. It's all static movements. You can see, like, when we do this number 5 and number 6 Nattadavus, it's clear. See the gap and the lines, how it's drawn, and with the lines, it's uh, clearly showing. So these lines are very important. If it is maintained, the posture also looks great, as well as the dancer or the learners, they also find the precision in the movement. This one is very common, which is Taitat. See, the hands are moving. It's in a circle. It goes up right parallel to the shoulder and it comes down and touch the ground, but it's always widely open. It never loses the parameter. It's all a circle. You can see this. This is Nattadavu number 6, which again the lines are drawn, that how each line is drawn and the angles are created. Now, this is another important one, which is known as Tattitaha. If you can see the hand and the angles and the right hand and look carefully the left toe position, because there is a Kuttanam position. From there, we tap the right foot. So these all are drawn in this book, which is talking about the geometrical angles. If these angles are not met when dancing, then the clarity is absent. If these lines are met, then dance look good, beautiful. Then it comes the sound. It's there in the physics. We use this one, which is known as the Nattuvangam, and the artist who plays is known as Nattubhanar. Then these are the instruments mostly used. Now, the sound has got its own uh, frequencies. Now, these frequencies are measured as scale. If the singer and the instruments are not in the same scale, it doesn't sound nice. The spectators, the audience, they feel disturbance in ears while listening. So there is also physics because the frequencies are important. So it is musically, it is known as the scale. So the singer sings in various scale, A, B high, C, etc. And the musical instruments, they needed to be balanced in the same scale. Then only there is a symphony. Otherwise, there are a lot of uh, imbalance and it doesn't sound nice to the ear of the spectators. Then, of course, the light, which is part of the physics. An auditorium must be having lights. Without that, you cannot have it. And it is important to understand the light and how the light should fall on artist how the light should cover the stage, and how certain areas should be brightened up, certain areas should be dark, and when there is no one, the stage should be absolutely dark. It is all known as the technical aspects of the light technicians. But if it is not understood by the science, it is physics, then the light, the distance which is covered, the intensity of the light, everything is actually physics, which most of us don't understand. The dancers, we don't understand. We totally depend upon the light technician. If we understand, then there is an understanding between the dancer and the light technician. And then we really can work together, and the outcome is always beautiful. Then, if we are talking about these hand gestures, now there are hand gestures which are talking about animals. There are hand gestures which are talking about flowers. There are hand gestures which are talking about birds. There are hand gestures which is talking about the planets. There are 9 planets, and there are particular hand gestures to describe the 9 planets. There are hand gestures. Let me show, like if we hold this, which is a kapita. This has got many applications, but one is to show, of course, a bird, beak, and head. This one is also has got many applications, but also sometimes we show it as a bird. This is also has many applications, but mainly it is known as Garuda, which shows the bird. This one is a Tripataka, but mostly it is applied to denote a tree. Even if both the hands are applied, then it is known as Lord Vishnu. But at the same time, there are times when we show it as the sun. This is Chandrakala, which is known as a crescent moon. This is Ardha Chandra, which shows the half moon. Now, all these parts are again part of the science, the astronomy, where we show the 9 planets and communication through dance. So all this developed, of course, with the interconnection, with the science, with the nature. That's why the animals like this we know as Mrigashirsha. This we know as Singhamukham. This we know as a Mukula, a bud. This we know as Alapadma, full bloomed flower. So each one is showing. It is showing because it needs to describe the nature and the animals and the life presence in surrounded in our surroundings. So everything through dance, especially classical dance, because classical dance has this Angika Bhinaya, which is pretty elaborate. Even it shows the relationships. It shows the mother, father, mother-in-law, father-in-law, son, daughter, son-in-law, daughter-in-law. All these relationships are there with the hand gestures. Even the child inside the mother's womb, that is also there in Indian classical dance. So everything which is a language, which is scientific, again, the presentation of dance is also scientific. Next is the second part, where after talking about the light, then sound, then geometry. Sorry, I missed one thing, that the mathematics, of course, which is a part of the talam. Now, very commonly, we use the first speed, second speed, and third speed. But what is the first speed? What is the second speed? What is the third speed? Now, first speed is a standard. How we denote it? Mostly we check the movement of the hand of the seconds in a clock. It tuck, 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 tuck. This is how the hand move in a clock. If we see, then we say 1, 2, 3, 4. What is second speed? We say we follow the beat, matlab the movement. So that's 1, 2, that continues. That is stagnant. And that's known as lay. Then we talk about the speed. That goes first speed, second speed, third speed. So that is gati. So in first speed, we say 1, 2, 3, 4. Second speed, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third speed, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in generally, we think this is dance and this is how the talam are practiced. But this is mathematics. Now, suppose we want to use 3 and 4 and 5 in this 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do that. How? With the help of the permutation and combination. If you know the concept of permutation and combination, then you can do that how many times you have to put it to come back to the sum. This is mathematics. So to understand dance, this science behind it, which is not revealed, or rather most teachers don't talk about it because there are various reasons that why these particular areas are not discussed during the commonly uh, imparted classes, lessons. But it is there. So it struck in my mind that why this part is not revealed, because this generation is generation Y. They need to know, they want to know more about more intricacy of the dance. So if these are the interesting part already exists and if can be used in day-to-day life and even into the education, it could be wonderful. Especially when we are talking about not only the science, we can take examples about the lights. We can show the beautiful, the lighting on the stage when there are stage performances going on. We can explain about the distance, that why certain movements need to be performed bigger if there is a big auditorium, and how a dancer controls the movement according to the size of the auditorium, according to the number of audience. If there is a small space where there are 20 to 50 people, the dancer choose to do an abhinaya, which is more easy to communicate. But when it is an auditorium where there are 2,000 people, mostly the dancer avoid to pick up a piece of an abhinaya because you might not be able to reach to the last row of the people. So there a beautiful dance with beautiful movements, illustrations would be more appreciated. It is all because of the understanding of the distance. And then covering the stage. Dancers, as they are quite capable to understand that what is the speed we need to take to reach to the center stage according to the size of the stage. The stage could be 20 feet, the stage could be 40 feet, the stage could be 70 feet, the stage could be 100 feet. And accordingly, there has to be an imaginary measurement which the dancer has to take if there is no stage rehearsal. If there is a stage rehearsal, so the dancer understand, no, we need to, that is called velocity. That we need to cover this speed to reach there, but you cannot change the laya. So remember, you have to maintain the speed and to reach to that particular point, but you have to take a kind of a measurement that this is how we are going to go and this is how we're going to reach. It's all happened. We all are experienced about it. But mostly we hardly think there is science we are applying every moment in dance. Isn't that wonderful? Next, we move to the influence of dance in medical science. Let me talk about you uh, that what are the areas I have understood with my understanding, my knowledge, my year of experience. Uh, I have not worked huge, but whatever I have learned, whatever I have understood, first of all, we can divide it in three parts. First is health, second is education, third, it is treatment, medication. If you dance on a regular basis, you'll have less diseases. If you dance on a regular basis, you will fall sick less. Why? Because when you are dancing, your breathing procedures, you are taking fast breathing. You're getting into fast breathing system. And then you control it. Especially Kathak dancers, during the performance, they come and use the mic to say, talk. For us, sometimes during the demonstrations, we come and talk. But while talking, a breathing system, our heartbeat is faster. We control it. We take a deep breath and we control it and then we talk. So we get into this system without knowing that's actually helping our heart becoming stronger because the pumping ability is becoming more. We don't understand. When we are dancing, it is pumping faster. Again, we rest, it slows down. So the elasticity of the heart, the blood circulation capacity, avoiding blockage in the heart prevents. Not 100%, because there are cases, even the dancers have heart attacks, but it is less than the general people who sit and work. Even the players, they also have heart attack because their life, the life with the games and sports end after 40. 40 is a long thing. More or less, it is 30, 35, it is over their career. A dancer reaches to the height in their career when they are 40, and the growth is on. Recently, we got to see that Vajanti Malaji. She performed when she was 88. Amazing. Yes. In 88, mostly we find if the people, the human beings are alive, we find that their capability, the ability to walk has gone down. But think she has danced at the age of 88. Why? Because of the discipline, that regular practice, that breathing exercise, that yoga, which has kept her fit and away from the sickness and diseases. This is how the health is controlled, monitored. It develops the concentration power, which mostly the parents don't understand. They think if the child is dancing, it is a wastage of time. We, the dancers, those who are practicing it for a long time, we understand it is not only tapping your feet, it is the whole connection, the body, the mind, the soul, everything is connected. And when we are dancing, we don't see anything, we don't hear anything. Our heart, the soul is connected absolutely with the music. So there's oneness with the music. The music is inside and the dance is with it. It go together. It requires a lot of practice to have that synchronization. And once it is there, then you get to see a flawless performance. But try to understand that is the concentration. You concentrate on the whole thing, and that is why you can do it next time. Dancing on any music which has got a particular set of rhythmic pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 is this here. But using your eyes, using your facial muscles, eyes following hands, equally the hit, and then you are changing from one particular part of the stage to another particular part of the stage where the brain is involved. Only in this. Try to understand that what amount of concentration is required to do all these actions, even the connections with the music, whether it is a live or it is a recorded. I remember I was performing and suddenly, the music, there was some loose connection. So there was no music. But I continued. I don't know why I continued. And suddenly they could make the connection. But by the time music on, but it has to be at certain area. And I danced where there was no music. And once we connected, I was thinking. Then I was there in my body. And I am the children.
Arkadev, I need to interrupt. We cannot hear you. For some, last few seconds, we couldn't hear you. Uh,
Am I audible now?
yeah, you're audible now again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Could you just repeat the
Okay.
last few things that
So,
you said? We just missed out on that.
okay. Uh, I was talking about the concentration level. Parents, those who are not exposed to dance and music, they think that after a certain time, the children need to focus on the study and they stop practicing dance. But my point is that if a child comes and takes the dance lessons or practice, they burn a lot of energy. And while doing, there are a lot of the brain work is happening, which is actually concentration. Concentration on what? That a particular dance piece has many aspects. One is that abhinaya. Second, the eye movements. Third, the facial expressions where the control of the muscles are required. The hands and everything has to reach from one particular point to another particular point. The legs and the space covering issues. And if there are choreographies, then it is more difficult. Solo is easier. Group choreography is difficult. We dancers, we understand because we have to understand the space. Because if we don't move into the right space, we might have a collision with our team members or group members. This is definitely affecting the brain. And we know, like, after a good dance practice, we come back, we feel tired, but the mind is absolutely refreshed, which mostly people don't understand. This is a science. This is another part of the science, which is dance is affecting the health. And it is very, very effective. The children who are diagnosed with autism and ADHD. And one more thing I would like to highlight here, the dancers, usually the people, those who are right hander, It is the left brain which is active and the right brain is sleeping. We all know this. But a dancer doesn't have a sleeping brain. Both the brains are active. You know why? Because there are times in a group choreography, we understand that other team member has done a miscalculation. But I have to manage and immediately keeping on the movement without stopping the dance, we manage ourselves to put ourselves in the right place or to do the right thing. So these calculations happens when one brain is functioning with the music. That brain cannot function to take the decision. That's another brain take the decision. And how it is into the medical science? If you see, there are people majorly who had a brain stroke. They have survived. There are a number of dancers who have survived from brain stroke and cancer. Amazing. But it is true because our cells are more active. The degeneration go slower than a normal people. Degeneration of the cells, the body cells, go slower than the normal people. Just a few minutes ago, I talked about Bhajanti Balaji. It's all because the practice, the cell divisions, the degenerations slower. Next is education. Now, how we educate? We are talking about our geography lessons. We are talking about the planets. Now, if we actually use the people, say, one person and nine people around, and we show the movement of each planet around the sun, it's easier for them to understand. Even this climate changing with the expressions, that is also possible. Any historical event, if an enactment can be done, the children understand and remember. These days, more onto the PPT presentation, it's all talking about the presentation. What presentation? Because they only not only read and memorize, they see, they hear, and they remember because it's more powerful. So with the dance, not only that they watch, they listen, they are involved, they understand, which is more lasting. If this can be implemented in education, I'm sure this will be more useful. So try to explain children with their involvement a chapter in history or a chapter in botany or zoology or anything with enactment, with colors, vibrant colors. It's beautiful. Not only that they are watching, they are involved into it, which mostly we don't understand, but it is a long lasting, it gives a long lasting memory. Then medical things. Now, dance therapy is very, very important. These days, all over the world, the people from 25 onwards are into depression, stressed. They are addicted to certain amount of phone sites, apps, games, because we are no longer socializing physically. We are going, coming back, mostly we are operating with the device. Every information is available on Google. So we don't need to work much. We are eating not healthy food. So the health and the brain is not required to function. Even these days, I get a request from my parents, sir, let us do the video. But what is the point? What is the point of doing a video? You are actually not letting your brain to expand the power of memory. If it is done, then the child will be, the brain involved in memorizing because biggest hard disk available in the whole world. I mean, no hard disk of the device can be comparable to the hard disk of our brain. It's you, but not you are not using a lot of space. These cannot something. What is in there? It's creative by the whether
Sorry to interrupt again. Again, there is some sound issue.
better.
No, no. For the last few seconds, again, we couldn't hear. So I was just waiting that it will just get better by itself, but it didn't improve.
Now is it okay?
Yeah, now again we can hear you. Yeah. Could
Okay.
you again
So
repeat,
I can
Anko, for the last few seconds?
yes. So I was talking about our brain has got huge capacity. It is the largest hard disk in the world available. Much larger space it has than any hard disk available as a device. Now, if it is not occupied, because in the dance class also, now in academic sessions also, every material is ready as a file. You open the file, you see, you make the project, you go. So brain is not functioning. So as the brain is not in function, the brain has got nothing to do. It cannot be empty. It has to be occupied. So it whatever it sees, whatever it hears, whatever it receives, it is occupying. So give good food to your brain. Give good thoughts to your brain. Give good creativity to your brain. Once a week dance is always very good for brain because the brain functions. Eyes follow the movement, ear listens the music, the whole body matches the steps, and the brain tries to remember. So you easily can come out of depression. You easily can avoid your stress level because after a 45 minutes, 1 hour dance session, you feel fresh, you feel more energetic. The body may feel a little tired, but the brain definitely feel fresh. You can laugh, you can smile, you can enjoy, you can feel joyful. So it is part of that. I was just talking about like as listening the music it can heals certain number of diseases, then practicing dance on a regular basis can stop certain diseases to attack your body. Even during the COVID period, I have heard very few dancers have lost their life in COVID. I have heard dancers have lost their life in COVID. It is all because the body has got stronger immunity system. It can fight, and which is developed because 10 years, 15 years, 20 years practice, regular practice, vigorous practice. So the my book has talked about these two sections mainly, which I have already discussed. One, how the science is involved and how the dance can be involved on the medical part, on the education, and on your health. So this is all about this particular book which talks about. So now if you have any questions, or Sanjukta, you want to say something, please.
Thank you so much for sharing all these important and crucial information in terms of continuing dance and practicing dance. In my academy, we have a wonderful and enthusiastic group of adult dancers, and it's very interesting to see how they are really coming back to dance after maintaining their family and their professional careers. And dance is like the food for their soul, exactly what you're talking about. So I see that physical presentation through my team members also. So I'm very happy that we have arranged for the first session with you and have got to hear it from an expert. In terms of questions, I would really appreciate if anybody has any questions that they would like to come up and ask Arkadev when he is around, and we can get a better feedback in terms of your queries. You can, yeah, Shayoni, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sanjukta Di. Thank you, Mr. Bhattacharya, for this beautiful presentation and very informative. Me, as a dancer, I started my dancing in a very childhood, and then I had to choose my like academic career over dance, and now I have just started again with Sanjukta Di after so many years. So my question is, as an adult dancer who haven't danced in their childhood, or they have not practiced dance form, uh, also with age, with time, we and with our lifestyle, there are a lot of difficulties that we are facing in terms of health. So how can we start? I mean, like what we should do, what we shouldn't do in terms of starting this dance form, or maybe restarting the dance form. And also my daughter is, like, she is 9 years old. She is also a student of Sanjukta Di. For them, like who are new beginners in their like kids, how they should start, what lifestyle, what things they should do, shouldn't do, if you can just elaborate a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's a nice question, actually. Our body, our physical changes happen mostly till 14 or 15 years old. After that, the changes stops, especially with the girls. By the time they are 15, the body, the physical changes are mostly done. For the boys, it goes till 17, 18. So it's always good to start dance before that, because when the body is changing, we are growing, so the cell divisions are faster. Adaptability is easier because the body is not stiff. So it's easy to learn, easy to follow, easy to reciprocate. But once we are more than 18 or 20, so it is always good to start with warm up. Try slowly, try small lessons in a day, and always to understand the body, that today how much I can take, and let's practice on that small lessons, so that slowly the joints which are fixed, which are stiff, because body has elasticity power. So this body becomes stiff, but slowly if you push, it gains the elasticity, and then the body automatically, our body has got very strong immunity power. It is, it can adjust very well with any situation, anything. That's why there are season changes, but our body, you see, the people, those who are practicing dance throughout the year, they suffer less with the cold and cough and other diseases. fever. It is all because throughout the year, the body, itself, the temperature, the inner temperature is fluctuating, because when we are dancing, the temperature is going up. When we rest, the temperature goes down. In general life, it is always the same. So the never the inner temperature is going high, never the heartbeats are faster, so never there is no uh, the body temperature's fluctuation. So the body acceptance is less for the general people. So similarly, if you are starting or restarting after say 25, it is advisable that you go slow, learn small lessons, and go with that much till you are comfortable with. Whenever you are not feeling comfortable, please share it with your instructor, teacher, mentor, so that she can understand that it is all because of that practicing dance for not practicing dance for a long while, or starting dance or started dance after a little late rather. Mm, because late is better than never, of course. So the teacher understands, okay, this much you can receive. It's always good to share with the teacher. And with this procedure, I think you can, because nothing is impossible in the world. The impossible word doesn't exist in the dictionary. So always trust in yourself, always trust in your ability. If you feel pain, go slowly. If you feel there are aches, go slowly, but trust and believe that you can.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Arko. Thank you so much, Shavni. That was a very interesting and important question for all adult learners. And also for dancers, Arkadev, who are intending to continue even after a certain ailment, maybe a kind of a serious ailment, because you have had references and collaboration with cardiac surgeon. I see all the other names of medical doctors included in your book. So what would be their advice in terms of a good starting point for those people who are hesitant to get into dancing, because it tends to give you the impression from outside that it is a lot of heavy exercise that we as an ailment continues, it's difficult for us to continue at that point of time. So what is the advice from the doctors that you have had the opportunity to collaborate with?
Suppose some people have got knee pain,
Hmm.
arthritis.
This is
There are different
irrespective
kind
of
of
age
arthritis.
group, actually, Arco. So I
Yes.
have students who are very young and
Mm.
who happens to, suffer from problems like arthritis or certain knee injuries that they have, encountered in their day-to-day life out of sports or out of other activities, but they want to continue dance and do it. So, what would be the advice from the doctors to do it through?
First of all, talk to the doctor, openly, that the dance, it is not only that using the whole body. Even while we are sitting, we can dance. So if we are not disturbing the part of the body which is injured and we still can dance, let us do that. Because, the happy hormone secretion is very important.
Mm.
That is very important, and that happens whenever we are dancing.
Whenever we are dancing, absolutely. Hmm.
Whenever we are sitting in a group and talking, and if we are just, we talk about any particular music, and at least we clap and move, and at least we sway, that is also kind of enjoyment, and we feel happy. So let's focus if the problem is with the hip joint or with the knee joint. But let's work on the upper body. Let's use the hand. If it is a heart related thing, then we have to understand that the body cannot take or something. Then at least you watch dancing. You come and sit and watch. You watch dance recital. Because while you are watching, you are excited. While you are watching, you are feeling happy. You are coming out of the world, you are entering into a different world, and that of course obviously make you happy. That takes you to a different world altogether, and that world is very happy. It is not selfish. There is no give and take policies. It is only
It's
sheer
only
joy. Yes. So
absolutely.
always at least come and sit in the class if you are unable to. At
Mm.
least come and sit and watch and talk. And at least, when it is happening, if you move your hand, because if it is alaripu and if you just do, tam, de tam, tai, tati, tam, de tam. So at least if you are not using the whole body, if you are doing that, then also you are involved into dance. And the brain is working. Brain has, you know, uh, it is beautiful actually.
Thank you,
You
Arko.
know,
Friends, do
mm.
you have any other questions that you would like to come up and ask, sir? They're all saying it is a nice presentation.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
so happy to
Thank you
hear
so
that.
much. Thank
Uh,
you so much.
and what a very crucial topic for dancers and dance students to start off with the celebration year. Um, Thank you so much, Arkadev. I really do not have words to, convey my gratitude and thanks for sharing this information and the research that you're conducting. Um, Thank you from all our SDA members. And thank you all the participants for joining in. We have some guests also. Thank you for joining in. And we will keep you posted for our next session, which will happen again in the month of January.